Pastor, thank you. Thank you all very much for coming. This is an organizational meeting. You're in a caucus state, which means that I hope I will be so brilliant and so eloquent and so high energy that you sign up for the caucuses in February and get 10 other people to do the same so that this state can play a critical role in electing the next president of the United States. I appreciate you coming out. At 3 o'clock afternoon, there's other things that are going on. I saw that the schools are emptying out with the kids and that there's a lot of activities here. You could be doing other things, and I'm grateful that you're here, and I appreciate you willing to come, and I hope that you'll be an active supporter. We're on the verge of the greatest time to be alive in this country. I believe it. It's not made up talk for me. I've seen the greatness of our country play out every day. If you just have a positive attitude about life, you can see it happening. Diseases are being cured. Technology is changing our life. Look at everybody now doesn't even listen. They put their phones on. The world we're in is dramatically improved because of progress, of innovation. But here's the deal. Government in Washington particularly is not working, and it's holding us back. For the first time, Americans don't think their children will have more opportunities than what they have. That's never happened before. For the first time in modern history, more businesses are closing than being formed. Workforce participation rates, that's kind of a nerdy term, but it's important. Workforce participation rates are lower today than they were in 1977, which means that a whole lot of people have given up. There's 6.5 million people that are working part-time, and more than half of those want to work full-time. We're living in a world of great abundance and possibility, but at the same time, our government hasn't moved with all the progress around us and is now holding us back. I want to be the candidate to express my belief that if we fix a few big complex things, and then I want to be the president to fix them to allow us to rise up again. And I believe I have the skills to do it. You know why? Because I got to do it as governor of the state of Florida. I was a I want to tell you a little bit about the Florida story because it's a precursor. It's a prelude to what could happen in Washington, D.C. When I got elected, I said that we were going to change how things worked, and we did. We were one of the first states to have meaningful career civil service reform. We reduced the state government workforce by 11% in my 8 years. And you could fire people for sheer incompetence, and you could reward good workers for doing the right thing. How about that for Washington, D.C.? I balanced 8 budgets in a row. We started with around $1 billion of reserves. When I left, there were $9 billion of reserves. Government lived within our means in Florida. How about that for Washington, D.C.? Florida's the sunshine state. I don't know if we can compete with Nevada. You guys have money. Your sun seems perpetually here. But that's our nickname. And we have government in the sunshine. We have the most open laws against lobbyists, and transparency is really important. It's a bipartisan kind of idea in Florida. It's part of our political culture. We passed the most meaningful lobbying reform in Florida, where every client, we knew the lobbyists had to say who their clients were and what kind of money they were making and who they were hanging out with. Don't you want that in Washington, D.C.? That's the problem right now. So whether it's career civil service reform or balancing budgets or creating reserves, the net effect was in Florida, our government got smaller, but people's income grew. 4.4% per year, people's income grew. Imagine that. Disposable income for Florida's families, the median, the great middle of our country, grew by $1,400. $1,400 a year means maybe you take a vacation. $1,400 a year means maybe you can save so your child doesn't have a student loan up so high that they can't pay it off and actually start life again. $1,400 may mean a dream of being able to start a business could actually come true. Or if you have a problem, you can be able to not indebt yourself, but use that money to take care of a rainy day. $1,400 a year manages a lot of problems for a whole lot of people. Growing our economy should be the first priority for the next president of the United States. The new normal of 2% should be rejected out of hand. Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders,
Got a couple of headshots.
She's kind of graphic right behind Bernie. Bernie Sanders has already promised $18 trillion of new spending programs. I know, it's impossible to imagine. Imagine Dr. Evil frozen and coming back to town and someone said 18 trillion, he wouldn't believe it. It would be impossible. $18 trillion, and we're only in September, the year prior to the election. Their belief is more regulation, more taxation, more spending, more telling people to get in line is the better approach. I say shrink government, give people the capacity to achieve earned success, and let them pursue their dreams with a vengeance. That is the proper way to go. We need a line item veto in Washington, D.C. They called me Vito Corleone in Florida for a reason. Because we created a priority that government should not grow faster than our ability to pay for it. And things were put in the budget that didn't go through a process, they got vetoed. I was an equal opportunity veto. My friends in the legislature that supported many of our initiatives as conservatives, they got their projects vetoed just like liberal Democrats did. That's the way it should be. This is not about our team now in charge and we're going to take the goodies. If we believe in limited government, then we should believe it to our core. Government should not grow faster than our ability to pay for it. We should take care of the most vulnerable in our society. We should make sure that when we spend money through government, that it's done right. Look at the sorry state of affairs of the Veterans Administration. That is despicable, it's disgraceful, it's nearly criminal. We should make sure that every dollar is spent right, but we should also make sure that people's income grows. And the way you do that is disrupt the old order and make sure that government is there as the servant of people, not its master. That, I believe, is the Imagine an economy growing at 4% per year, not 2% per year. Just imagine for a moment. It's not that long ago that was the norm. In the late 1980s, Ronald Reagan, in a bipartisan bill, passed tax reform, meaningful tax reform, where all the special carve-outs and the special favors, most of them were eliminated, and rates were lower. That's what I want to do again. I want to cut rates down, eliminate all the carve-outs and deductions, let people decide how they want to invest in their own dreams and save for their own monies. We should have the lowest corporate rate in the industrial world, not the highest corporate rate. We should have hundreds of billions of dollars being invested in our own country where we create high-wage jobs. The middle class shouldn't be paying more and more and more. They should be paying less. And when you allow people to make decisions for themselves, that creates economic opportunity for all of us. That's exactly what we need to do. And my proposal will be the first step in creating the 4% growth strategy so that we can be more optimistic about the future. I know something else. The idea that you can solve every problem with another rule doesn't work. It is stifling our ability to rise up. The EPA is out of control. The FCC now, thanks to President Obama and the people that believe in this philosophy, are going to regulate the access to the internet. Across the whole alphabet soup of government, we now have this muscular government that wants to try to mandate and regulate our way to prosperity. It never has worked and it never will work. Yes, there is a public good. Certainly, we need to protect workers' rights, and the quality of our air and water is important. That is clearly a public objective, but you can't do it by stifling the next generation of jobs. You can't do it by taking income away from people. You can't impose higher and higher costs on the middle class and expect to get a good result. Here's my pledge to you. We will protect the public good, but we'll do it in a way so that we can grow our economy at a far faster rate so that people can rise up again in this country. They're more optimistic. And if we embrace our energy revolution, instead of having this idea that somehow the really smart people in Washington can pick the winners and losers for the next generation of energy, if we allow markets to work, we'll have the lowest cost energy sources in the world, and we'll create the highest wage jobs in the world, based on the United States resources. Hillary Clinton still can't say if she's in favor of the XL pipeline. I can. I'm for it. I believe. Think about this. Two existing technologies, hydraulic fracturing and horizontal drilling, have been around a long time. Combined together, where innovation took place, where private property rights were protected and embraced, and a private company that wasn't looking for quarterly profits created a revolution. Just slightly more than a decade ago, we were building LNG plants to bring high-cost liquefied natural gas into our country because we were running out of natural gas. Now we probably have over 150 years of supply of the most abundant, cheap sources of natural gas to allow us to reindustrialize the country, to allow your utility bills to go down, to allow gasoline prices to go down. In fact, it's the best deal that the middle class has gotten in this country. We should not be pushing it down. We should be celebrating a great American success story because that is our future. Our future. Our future will never be bright if we let the political hacks and the academics kind of decide our fate. But our future is bright if we embrace the unforeseen and accept the fact that in a free market economy, people freely choosing how to do these things, disrupting the old order, creates more prosperity for more people than any government program ever created. That is the greatness of our country, and I will restore that as President of the United States.